over there. But what are the thoughts and what are your latest news from our brethren in Aleppo?
Thank you, Vartan. This morning I had a telephone conversation with Reverend Harut Selimyan in Aleppo. And the first thing that we would like to emphasize to everyone that we are extremely happy and thank God, the Lord, for keeping our people safe, for having this sad and unfortunate incident after everybody had left church. It happened early in the afternoon, but after the church service, usually the junior high teenagers get into their youth activity at church, and this happened after they had left the church. Another thing that we touched upon mentally, and I don't know if this count is correct, but Vartan, this is the seventh or eighth Armenian church that I can imagine that has been destroyed or damaged in Syria by now. The latest of all this series, and there might be more even that I can't recall. It is very unfortunate, and it's kind of, if I say that this has been a message to us, I do not want to concentrate on that, because Aleppo every day sees this shower of mortars and shells, and I would not specifically say that we were targeted, because they are indiscriminately shot, and sometimes it hits residential areas, and apartments collapse, and people die. And this one, which again is on the borders of the green line, let's say, between the two parties, was hit and damaged as a public place, a worship place, rather than a residential. One thing is very obvious, and in our conversation with our leadership in Aleppo, that the community in Syria has so far more or less decided what to do, the members of the community. And there's a core membership in the Armenian community in Aleppo who have decided to stay put. This is our homeland now. This is our home now. It has been since we took refuge here after the genocide. This is where we're staying. Here are our organizations, our schools, our churches, our clubs, our cultural associations. We have so many centers, and we are going to stick to it, and we're staying here. So no message like this, or no activity as savage as this one, will ever affect our decision to leave. We're going to stay put. We will continue on seeking for peace and reconciliation for the warring parties, and we will overcome these tragedies, and we will build our churches. They have our of course, unwavered support, attention. We stand in solidarity, and we have assured them that when you feel the right time comes, we will certainly help you and assist you in rebuilding this church. One more thing, the community and the church congregation has already immediately cleared the sanctuary itself. They're going to cover the roof with the proper material so that rain, snow, and then the weather, climate will not have any effect. We're not going to immediately renovate the damage or fix the damage. And most importantly, that worship services are going to continue in the hall. There is a very nice, large social hall below the sanctuary at the bottom on the first floor, and we will continue on worshiping God every Sunday until this crisis comes to an end, and then we go up and renovate and clean the church and continue our services.
How do you think this crisis will come to an end, and when will that come to an end?
It is a very complicated crisis, and it does not only depend on the will of the Syrians. That's the tragedy of the situation in Syria. I was born in Syria, I was raised there, I know the people there, I had my classmates, my community, my neighborhood people, I know the Syrians. If the Syrians were left alone, this, of course, crisis would not have reached the point that it has reached. That's why it's very difficult to look at the future and say, when will this take a stop? Right now, not only the regional powers, but the superpowers are somehow trying to resolve their differences in the world, of the world, in Syria itself. So it is difficult to predict as to when this will end. However, since the Russian interference and presence in Syria, the balance of power has changed towards the government regime forces. And what we hope is that if the government is able and definitely is willing, I am sure, to bring peace to the larger civilian inhabited areas like Aleppo itself. Now, we understand that the neighborhoods of Aleppo, so-called the surrounding of Aleppo, is being gradually taken under government control, under the control of the Syrian army. And hopefully, if this continues on, and we have a kind of a circle, a ring, a peaceful ring of security around the city, at least the civilian populations will not continue on paying all this heavy damage and in losses in lives and in property. We are hoping that might be coming sooner than later, I would say, and that the rest of the conflict can be resolved. Either our hope is and prayer is that it can be resolved on the tables of diplomatic communication and contact.
You know, the tragedy that befell Syria has been going on for close to 5 years, and the way it has affected the Armenian community is just, there's no need to add anything. We all know the tragedy that befell the Armenian community. In closing, what is your message to the average Armenian?
Well, I have seen in this tragedy one very bright light that we as Armenians and as a nation have not taken good advantage of. Our people who were subjected to the genocide took refuge basically in Syria, and then from there on went all around the world. But a core community, a very solid community linked to its roots, to its culture, to its language, remained in Syria, hoping that one day they can return to their homes in historic Armenia. This was a great opportunity for all those who did not want to stay put and continue on their residency in Syria itself, to manage collectively to move them to the homeland Armenia and settle them there. What happened is that members of the community, the easiest way of going anywhere was, of course, Armenia, for Syrians who did not have visa and were denied visa all over the world now. They took refuge in Armenia, but they used it as a springboard to travel, to get out of there and find other places who welcome them even more. This is very unfortunate. This is a message that I have tried to share with community leadership after I left SARF on the West Coast and moved to the East Coast to AMAA. I wanted our leadership to consider a joint plan, a strategy that we can, all of us, including the leadership of the homeland Armenia, to move these people over there and settle them there. We did not do that. That's what pains me. And we probably have lost an opportunity, considering all those who are moving to Canada now, considering all those who moved to Sweden, all those countries who opened their doors and accepted them, while we could have had these people in Armenia. And Syrian Armenians are ingenious people. They can create, and they do create. They create work. They create businesses. They are very, very shrewd, able, capable people of creating. So we missed that opportunity. Maybe whatever is left, we still can continue concentrating on that and welcoming all those, the rest of those thousands who are also entrapped in Lebanon. Let us remember there's 10, 15, 20,000 Syrian Armenians entrapped in Lebanon who are waiting for that peaceful day to return to Aleppo, let's say. Maybe we can save them as well from going anywhere else in the world. I hope and I call again all Armenian leaderships, the leadership of the Armenian communities everywhere, to consider a concentrated, united effort to settle Syrian Armenians in the homeland, to all those who are willing to do so.